Con. All praise to Yahbashim Yahushua. All right, it's Brother Zabiyala.
Brother Marquez.
It's coming back at you with another cold cut through the spirit. Shah Shabbat to the mighty Shabbat to the brothers out there, eldermen out there on the highways and byways laboring, that's been putting in this work, putting in a break for the hopeful elect, right? In the mighty Aquath, reverence to their husbands, right? Guiding their households, raising up leaders in these last days, and the mighty children abiding in their parents' households. Shalom, shalom. Topic of this cold cut is going to Zechariah, the 14th chapter, man. The destruction of the other nations, right? And we're going to be robbing the other nations, man. All right. So, yeah, hey, man, Zechariah, if you go into Zechariah, he was a prophet at the beginning of the Persian and Median Empire, the Achaemenid Empire, with Haggai, who was a contemporary prophet, right, post-Babylonian captivity. And he also helped build the second temple, prophesied during that time for the mighty forefathers Zerubbabel and Joshua, the high priest. Right, so all praises to Yahbashim Yahushua. We're going to hop right into it with Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1.
Let me figure it.
Yeah.
It's the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, and verse number 1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee.
So when you know you're going to war, right, and so I'm just gonna this over too, right. When you're going to war, and when you win, you take the spoil, man. You take all the spoil, you take the treasures, you take the gold, right? Hey, the Lord said we're gonna be dividing the spoil to our brethren, man. You get a piece, man. Right? The Lord said we're gonna be robbing the heathen. Go to Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 10. Right? The day of the Lord comes, man. All right.
Ezekiel chapter 39 and verse 10. So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest. For they shall burn the weapons with fire,
right?
And they shall spoil those that spoil them.
And what we gonna do?
Spoil those that spoil them.
Hey, and the Lord said we're gonna spoil those that spoil them. And read on.
And rob those.
And what?
And rob those that rob them, saith the Lord God.
Saith the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. And that's coming to the earth, man. All of our riches, all of our gold, right? The Queen of England got a $50 million diamond in her damn crown, right? All the gold in her backyard, that don't belong to her, man, right? They raped, robbed, and murdered the earth. Great Britain is known for that, man. And America. How America started off $34 trillion on free labor, and now you're $31 trillion in debt. You went from this down here, man. All that land they took, that belongs to us, so we're going to take that back. Go to 1 Maccabees chapter 5 and start at verse 35, man. All right, what was Judas doing when he was slaying the heathen?
Book of 1 Maccabees chapter 5 and verse number 35. It reads, This done, Judas turned aside to Maspah,
right?
And after he had assaulted it,
right,
he took it.
He what?
He took it.
Right, read on.
And slew all the males therein, and received the spoils thereof, and burned it with fire.
And that's the type of time that we on, man. We not asking for anything, right? Lord, when we part of the hopeful elect, we get to see that, but the hopeful, that's how the Lord gets down. We're not asking for anything. Can you please give it back? Right? You kind of assault the nations, you take them into slavery, and you put your hand down and you ask for it back. No, give it back, man. Right? That's what the Lord said that's going to happen in that day. That's the day of the Lord, man. Everybody wants the day of the Lord to happen, but they don't know the day of the Lord is the Israelites robbing the other nations, man. All right? You can bring it out.
This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 27, and verse 8. And David and his men went up and invaded the Girgashites and the Jezreelites and the Amalekites, for those nations were of old the inhabitants of the land, as thou goest to Shur, even unto the land of Egypt. And David smote the land and left neither man or woman alive.
See that?
And took away sheep and oxen and the asses and the camels and the camels and the apparel, and returned and came to Chish. So David did the same thing. You got to remember, our forefather, the Most High Yahweh, he's a man of war, as you read in Exodus 15:3. So if he's a man of war, how do you think the spirit of the mighty men of the Lord are going to move? And we're going to move in the exact same spirit. Right? You see in the book of Exodus how he spoiled the Egyptians. He took all their gold, all their silver. Right? And you see right here, David, he killed the men and the women, and he took the cattle. Right? He took the sheep, the ass, the oxen, etc. Why? Because, again, we move in the spirit of our forefather. Ultimately, and on the right-hand side, we're getting that righteous vengeance back, like the brother going into.
That's right. You see that? Hey, go to the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 12 and 28. Right? Start at verse 27. Start at verse 26.
2 Samuel, chapter 12, verse 26. It reads, and Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David and said, I have fought against Rabbah and have taken the city of waters. Now, therefore, gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it.
And what?
And take it.
He said, encamp around the city and take the damn city from them, man. Right, read on.
Lest I take the city and it be called after my name.
So Joab was like, look, I want you to come with us because if I take the city, it's going to be called after my name. But David, I want it to be called after your name. So come with us so you can take the city, David. All right, read on.
And David gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it.
Right.
And he took their king's crown from off his head.
What did he do?
And he took the king's crown from off his head.
Excuse me, Mr. King. I think this belongs to me. Took it off his damn head. He wasn't even dead yet. He took it off his head while he was alive. And I'm led to believe, when you imagine this, the king's face had a frown on it. He was mad. I think he was crying a little bit. Like 3 tears came down his eyes. All right, read on.
And took the king's crown from off his head. The weight thereof was a talent of gold,
right,
with the precious stones. And it was sent on David's head. And he brought it forth to the spoil of the city and the great abundance.
And when you go into that talent of gold is over $1 million, man. He took the king's crown off and put it on his head and took all the spoils and the gold. Read on, verse 31.
Verse 31. And he brought forth the people that were therein and put them under saws and under harrows of of iron, and under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brickland. And thus did he unto all the cities of the children of Ammon. So David and all the people returned unto Jerusalem.
You see that, man? So that's how our forefathers was getting down in those days, man. They was taking crowns off people's heads. They was taking cities. They took people. They took whole people. Men, women, and children. Put iron on them and made them pass through the brick kiln, man. You see that? Yeah, precept.
Kind of how you got it.
Kind of, right? So, hey, you got to understand what our forefathers was doing and the spirit of the Lord that the Lord was moving in these last days, man. All right? We're going to be taking city. Go to Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Right? Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. All right? You got to understand what our forefathers was doing in the ancient world, man. You got to know who your God is. You got to get to know your God, man. Right? It's not the Christian church.
Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through.
All right.
And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
Read on.
And their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes.
Right.
Their houses shall be spoiled and their wives ravished.
So in that day, you're gonna have wives being ravished. You're gonna have children, little babies being thrown against the wall. Right? Get out the way. You smack a baby and his head hit the edge of the bed. Right? You're gonna have spoils being taken. Right, read on.
Verse 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
Okay, I sit on that. But the Lord, that's the type of spirit the Lord is moving in. And in that day, the Lord is going to give his men that type of spirit to take everything back that belongs to them. One more precept. Go to Zechariah chapter 10 and 10. All right, because when the kingdoms are translated, the spoils and the treasures are translated as well. Right?
Zechariah chapter 10 and verse number 10. It reads, the physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king tomorrow shall die. For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things.
Start at verse Sirach chapter 10 and start at verse 8. Come forward.
Sirach 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
So the kingdom is going to be translated. All the riches, all the spoils, the crowns, the gold, the land, the cattle, the sheep, the food, the oxen, everything is going to be translated for the to the Israelites, because the Israelites got next up to rule. I mean, didn't the Lord say we're going to take the kingdom in Daniel chapter 2? Right? So that's what's going to happen. The Israelites are going to take the kingdom in that day. Right? So you got a percent?
Yeah. Joshua chapter 10, verse number 24.
All right.
It's the book of Joshua chapter 10 and verse number 24. It says, and it came to pass when they brought out the kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war, which went with him, come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near, and they put their feet upon the necks of the kings. So Joshua, he had his men come out after he took down these kings, like the brother brought out 2 Samuel, how King David took their crown. Hey, Joshua, he literally made the men put their feet on the kings of these necks. Imagine your brother coming over to you saying, hey, come here. Then you come here, and it's damn 10 kings laying on the ground. He say, and you just pick out 10 random brothers, and he said, put your feet on his neck. And that's mighty right there. And again, that's a man of war. This man moves in the spirit of the Most High. Bashem Yahushua. Read that again. And it came to pass when they brought out the kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called for all the men of Israel, and said unto the captains of the men of war. Right? It said these are men of war. And it said these were soft men, or a man that was just scared, a man that just wanted to read John 3:16, and they didn't go to. No, these were men of war. It says, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near and put their feet upon the necks of these kings. Right? You just can't read, like brothers always say, can't read the Bible like a nasty white man.
Right.
You got to read it. You got to visit what's really going on. Right? You bringing the kings in shackles. You throwing them to the ground.
Right.
Then you putting your size, whatever size shoe you wear. Maybe, back then they probably went size 13.
Yeah. Size 16.
Yeah, size 16. They didn't have no sandals on them. No, they had on boots. It said, put your foot upon the neck. Right? I bet they didn't just put a toe and they stepped off. No, they probably stumped out the neck just like how we stumped out the damn Caesar Borgia picture at camp. Yeah, they smushing their foot in there. And again, you got to get into it. This how Joshua and the men that was rolling with Joshua was moving. You read 2 Samuel, the 23rd, I believe that's the 23rd chapter. You read about the men that King David rolled with. And you know what I'm saying? That's a mighty chapter. Nevertheless, you see how our forefathers, they was literally men of war. They took over cities. They killed the women, killed the men, killed the children. And the Lord literally sent out a death angel to kill the children in the land of Egypt, the firstborn. Mm-hmm. And again, it's the spirit of our forefathers, and it's the spirit of war that so-called Christians and these other people don't want to deal with. Maybe we're going to deal with it.
Right. Hey, and like the brother said, you gotta really understand what they was really doing, man. You gotta imagine that too. I mean, it was blood on the bottom of their boots. It was dirt, sand, snot, and it was on their necks, man. And guess what, man? There was nothing they can do about it but bow down to the Holy One of Israel. All right, so go back to that in Zechariah chapter 14, read verse 2.
Zechariah 14 and verse number 2. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall be cut off from the city.
And we read Isaiah 14:1 all the time. That's going to happen. I mean, half the city's going to go forth into slavery. You're going to have the 144,000 that's going to fight with the Lord when he comes back, man. Right? You're going to be putting these kings into pits. Right? You're going to be taking them all over the world, just grabbing them up, man. Right? But why? Because they've done that to our people, man. Right? Go to Joel chapter 3 and verse 7. I mean, you made one nation of people walk from one side of the country to the other side of the country, man. That's wicked. Trail of tears. See that? But guess what? They're going to have their own trail of tears, man. Right. Read that, King.
Joel chapter 3 verse 7. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them,
Right.
and will return your recompense upon your own head.
So the Lord said he's going to return the recompense or the payback upon their own head for what they have done to our people, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Read on.
Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah,
Right.
and they shall sell them to the Sabinians, to the people far off, for the Lord hath spoken.
The Lord spoken it. So there you go. There's a slave trade in the Bible that the Lord ordains. I can't get down with that. I don't know how people will. It's inhumanly possible for me to, feel like slavery is good. The Lord get down with slavery, man. And since his sons and daughters was put into slavery, Yahweh Bashim said, all right, yeah, you know what? Say your sons and daughters are going into slavery too, man. And he's going to sell them into the hands of Judah, man. Right? And that's what's going to happen in that day. So let's go back to Zechariah 14 and start at verse 3, man.
Zechariah 14:3. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle.
Right.
And his feet shall stand in the day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
Hey, and the Lord stood on the Mount of Olives before, but the second time he's going to do it, the Lord's going to come back to battle. Go to Matthew 21 and verse 1. Man, you got to get into the geographic location. That's on the east side of Jerusalem, man. All right, hey, the Lord taught over there in the Mount of Olives. He talked to the disciples over there many times, man. But the next time he's coming back, it's going to be for war. Read that, man.
Matthew chapter 21 and verse 1. And when they drew nigh unto Jerusalem, where it came to Bethlephage, unto the Mount of Olives, then sent then said Yahweh to disciples, saying unto them, go into the village over against you, and straightway ye shall find an ass tied, and a coat with her. Loose them and bring them unto me.
Right, so that's the last time the Lord was on the Mount of Olives, man. He was teaching his disciples. He was giving out certain directions. The next time the Lord comes back, stands on the Mount of Olives, it's going to be with a two-edged sword in his hand, man. Right, and he's going to stand on the east, man. And this is a prophecy. This will happen in that day, man. Right, you got to be able to imagine this. You got to be able to envision what this is, man. Right, you got to be saying.
It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11 and verse number 23. It says, then did the cherubims lift up their wings, and the wheels beside them, and the glory of the God of Israel was over them. And the glory of the Lord went up from the midst of the city, and stood upon the mountain, which is on the east side of the city. Like the brother said, the mountain that's on the east side, that's the Mount of Olives. And the brother brought it out, Matthew, the 21st chapter. He was chopping it up with them in the Mount of Olives, giving them orders. But again, the next time the Lord come, he's gonna be on another time.
All right.
All right, you got it.
Go back to Zechariah chapter 14, verse 5.
Zechariah 14:5. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azel. Yea, ye shall flee like as he fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
Right, if you want to read about the earthquake and the days of Uzziah the king, just read Amos chapter 1 on down. Right, read on.
Verse 6. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark.
Right.
But it shall be one day which shall be known to the Lord.
Right.
Not day nor night, but it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light.
Right, so go to the book of Revelations 21 and 23. What does that mean, man? Right, one day shall be known to the Lord, not day nor night. Right, but at evening time it shall be light. What did that mean, man? Right, it's just going into the light meaning hope. Right, righteousness, truth. Right, because right now we're living in a spiritually dark time, but it's approaching that morning time. What that morning time represents that light. Read that, King.
Revelation 21 and 23. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon,
right,
to shine in it, for the glory of God did lighten it.
Right.
And the Lamb is the light thereof.
See, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And that's what's going to be in the kingdom, man. Right? Because right now we live in a spiritually dark time. All right, go to 1 Timothy 1 and 1. Yahweh Shah, that's the Lamb. So I go to real quick, 1 Peter 1 and 19. Yahweh Shah is that land. And Yahweh Shah is our hope, man. All right.
1 Peter chapter 1 and 19. But with the precious blood of Hamashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spots.
Right? So the Lord is that lamb. He's that lamb. He's that light. Hey, that's going to be shining forth in Jerusalem. Go to 1 Timothy 1 and 1. Baba Kushah.
1 Timothy chapter 1 and verse number 1. Paul, an apostle of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, by the commandment of Yahweh, our Savior, and the Lord Yahweh Shai Hamashiach, which is our hope.
Which is our what?
Which is our hope.
So Yahweh Shai represents our hope. He represents that light, that truth, that righteousness, right? Because right now we live in a spiritually dark time. Go to Job chapter 10 and verse 21. There is no light here. Right? Hey, the Lord's not here right now, man. His spirit's on the earth, man. Right? But hey, physically, he's not here right now. Hey, Esau is ruling this world with darkness, man. I read that.
Job chapter 10 and 21. Before I go, whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness,
right,
and the shadow of death.
Right.
A land of darkness, as darkness itself,
right,
and of the shadow of death without any order,
right,
where the light is as darkness.
So the light is as darkness here. Meaning this truth, when we bring out this truth, people hate it. People think it's darkness. They call it hate speech, right? They say we don't accept the new wave, right? It's called being woke now, right? Hey, I remember being woke was about our people, right? Now being woke is about, the alphabet community, right? So the Lord said the light is as darkness here. Job said, hey, this land that I'm going to is without any order. Job knew he was going to be back on earth again, man. Right, in this place called America, right? But hey, the point is that light is as darkness. We're living in a spiritually dark time, but we're approaching that light. Go to Song of Solomon 4 and 6, Baba Kasha. Right, we are approaching that light on the earth, man.
Book of Song of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse number 6. Until the day break and the shadows flee away, I will get me to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of frankincense.
So what does it mean to the daybreak? When the day breaks, it's dawn, right? The day breaks like 4:30, 5, 6 in the morning. You see the daybreak. You see the small sliver of sun in the morning, man. Right? That's like the dawn, right? You're coming out of that night. The shadows fleeing away. You're coming out of that night, man. Hey, in Song of Solomon, he was prophesying about that, man. We're looking for that daybreak. We looking for that sliver of light, man, spiritually right now, because we living in a spiritually dark world, man. But the Lord said in Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 7, is at evening time it shall be light, because the Lord's going to be reigning on the earth again, man. So go back to that in Zechariah 14 and verse 7, Baba Kishore.
Zechariah 14:7. But it shall be one which shall be known of the Lord, not day nor night.
Right.
But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light. And it shall be in that day that living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea. In summer and in winter shall it be.
Now I'm going to have you read that again. What does that mean, right? What does that mean that the water shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, the hinder sea, and in summer and winter shall it be? All right, so read that again. We're going to break that down.
Verse 8, Zechariah 14th chapter. And it shall be in that day that the living waters shall go out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea.
Right, so it says the living waters shall go out from the Jerusalem. What are the waters? Right, go to Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 26. What are these waters that's going to be going out from Jerusalem? All right, we got to figure out what these waters are. Because, once the elect obtain the kingdom of heaven, and we got that question at camp, the brother, I believe it was last week, so all right, you get the kingdom of heaven, then what? Well, then what? The elect is going to be teaching the nations, man. That's exactly what's going to be happening. They're going to be bowing down to the law, statutes, commandments of the Lord. Read that, King.
It's the book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 26. It reads, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
So the words of the Lord is the waters that's going to be going out from Jerusalem, right? Go to the book of Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse 8, right? The words of the Lord is going to be going out from Jerusalem, teaching the nations, man. Ezekiel prophesied about that.
Ezekiel chapter 47 and verse number 8. It reads, Then said he unto me, These waters issue out toward the east country, and go down into the desert, and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the waters shall be healed.
Right.
And it shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth, thithersoever the rivers shall come, shall live, and there shall be very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come thither.
Right. So right, so you can read on. No, right. So yeah, so everything's gonna be healed, man. Right. The fish just represents the works that the nations are gonna be bringing forth. Right. So when these nations get taught the law, statutes, commandments, they're gonna be bringing forth fish, like as in waters, regular waters. If it's clean waters, if you know it's good water, when there's a lot of fish, there's a lot of living organisms or living substance in the waters. Like if a tree's bringing forth righteous fruit, if you know a tree by its fruit, it's gonna be bringing forth good fruit. The waters are going to be bringing forth good fish. So when these nations are being taught the law, statutes, commandments, they're going to be bringing forth fish, right? Because the children of Israel are going to, or the 1/3, or the coming out from the east country, they're going to be teaching these nations. Read on to verse 9.
Verse number 9. Oh, Zechariah, right?
No, Ezekiel.
Verse 9. And it shall come to pass that everything that liveth, which moveth, thithersoever the river shall come,
Right.
shall live. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come thither, for they shall be healed. Everything shall live thither, for the river cometh.
And that river and the waters represent the words of the Lord that's going to heal the nations, man. Right? You can bring it out.
This classic Revelation 1:14. His head and his hairs were white like wool, and it's like his head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters.
See that?
So in one fold, Yahweh's voice, he spoke with authority, pursuing Mark the 1st chapter. But the many waters, Yahweh, when he spoke, the wisdom always flowed out of him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that water on another fold, like the brother going into, it's also the words of the Lord, the wisdom that in that perfect doctrine that Yahweh brought forth, that we ultimately in due season have to bring forth to the nations.
See that? Hey, and like I said, Yahweh is going to be the chief bearer of that, man. Right? The water's going to be coming out from the east country, and Yahweh is the top of that, man. All right, so go back to Zechariah. Actually, go to Micah 4:1. All right, Micah chapter 4 and verse number 1. So yeah, the waters are going to come out from the east country. The east country represents Jerusalem, man. And guess what? These nations will be getting taught the law, statutes, commandments, and they will be bowing down to the laws of God, man, by force. Right? And they're going to bring forth, right, righteous fruit or fish. I read that about Sean.
It's Micah 4:1. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established at the top of the mountains.
Right.
And it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it.
They shall what?
Shall flow unto it.
That's what waters, they going to flow into the top, to the mountain of the house of the Lord, the kingdom of the house of the Lord. Read on from that, King.
Verse 2. And many nations shall come and say, Come and let us go up to the mountain.
Right.
Come and let us go up to the mount of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob.
Right.
And he will teach us of his ways.
So they're going to be getting taught the law, statutes, commandments, and the Most High, right? And we're going to be taught the ways of the Lord. Read on.
Reading on. And we will walk in his paths, for the law shall go forth of Zion,
right,
and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
See that? So that's what's going to be happening, right? You got to reach up?
No, you got it.
So that's what's going to be happening, right? They're going to be getting taught the ways of the Lord, man. Go to Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 20. Right? They're going to come up to the kingdom, the mountain of the house of the Lord. Can we go with you? We heard that you were a Jew, and they're going to teach us of his ways, his righteous ways, man. They're going to be desiring the words of the Lord in that day, man. Just watch the book of Eli, right? That Edomite was lusting extremely after the words of the Lord, man. Right? That's exactly how it's going to be on a mass-fold level. They're just going to be under control. Right? Read this.
Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 20. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, it shall yet come to pass that there shall come people in the habitations of many cities, and the inhabitants of one city shall go to another, saying, let us go speedily to pray before the Lord,
Right.
and to seek the Lord of hosts. I will go also. Yeah, many people and strong nations shall come to seek the Lord of hosts in Jerusalem,
Right.
and to pray before the Lord.
All right. And guess what? They're all going to, hey, man, they're going to want to come up to the house of the Lord, man. Pray before the Most High, right? They're going to want to learn, right? They're going to sit at the feet of their ruler, right? That's what's going to be happening in those days, man. And there's nothing they can do about it, right? Read on to verse 23.
Verse 23. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew,
Right.
saying, we will go forth with you, for we have heard that Yahweh is with you.
So they're going to be begging the 1/3 to serve the Most High, our God. That's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be taking the skirt. The skirt represents the hem of your garment. Like how they was doing Yahweh Shah. They was pulling on the hem of his garment, man. That's what they're going to be doing. You're going to be like, get off of me, you dirty heathen. You're going to smack him in the forehead, and they're not gonna let go, and then you're gonna be dragging them across their feet, and then you're gonna have another damn heathen on that heathen's feet. It's gonna be like a damn line. It's gonna be like a damn train, right? You're gonna be dragging 10 heathen, man, right? And they're gonna be grabbing by the skirt of your garment with 2 fingers, because that's all they can do, man. That's literally what's gonna be happening, and they're gonna be being drugged, and they're gonna be sitting at the feet of you, learning the law, statute, commandments of the Lord, man. Thus saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. Right, so go back to that in Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 8, man.
Zechariah 14 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass in that day that living waters shall go forth out from Jerusalem, half of them toward the former sea, and half of them toward the hinder sea.
Now, what does that mean, right? Because in Jerusalem, you have the sea before Jerusalem, you have the sea below Jerusalem, meaning all around Jerusalem, you're going to be teaching the law, statutes, commandments to all the nations round about. The former sea and the hinder sea, doesn't matter. All around Jerusalem, you can be teaching the law, statutes, commandments to these nations. Read on.
In the summer and the winter shall it be.
Meaning all year round, we always going to be teaching the law, statutes, commandments everywhere, man. Right? In summertime, wintertime, springtime, it doesn't matter. In summer and winter shall it be, meaning the knowledge and wisdom is going to be taught all year round to these other nations. Right? Read on to verse 9.
And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. And that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one.
Krishna won't be there. Zeus won't be talked about, nor Poseidon, Aphrodite's, Allah definitely won't be there. Oh no, if we hear that word Allah, we made it stomp out a heathen, man, immediately on the spot, right? And I'm telling you, Yahweh Shai, he gonna stomp out that heathen too, right? And none of these other gods, science definitely won't be there, man. None of these other gods on the earth that they serve now will not be there, man. Right? His name's gonna be one, and his name's gonna be the Holy One of Israel, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Go to Isaiah 17 and 7, Baba Kashah. Right? It ain't gonna be happening. You're not gonna be talking about different gods. All it is, the talk is gonna be of the law, statutes, commandments, and how great the God of Jacob is and what he has done for his servants. And all they're gonna want to be doing is wishing they were born an Israelite, and they can't. All right.
Isaiah chapter 17 and verse number 7. At that day shall a man look to his maker, and his eyes shall have respect to the Holy One of Israel.
Thus saith the Lord, his eyes will have respect unto the Holy One of Israel, man. Right? Yahweh Ba'ashem Hamashiach Hamak Yahushua. You got a precept?
Come. It's the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse number 34. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne,
right,
nor by earth, for it is the footstool, neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. So the Most High is known as the great king. Yeah, we know that Yahweh Shah is the king as well, but over Yahweh Shah, who is it? The Most High God, Yahweh. This Psalms chapter 47 and verse number 7. It says, for Yahweh is the king of all the earth. Sing ye praises with understanding. Right? So again, the Most High, he's the ultimate king. He's the one that's going to be ruling the whole earth. He does that now, but now when Yahweh Shah when he places Yahweh Shah as that in that righteous throne to judge the earth, and ultimately the Most High is going to have control over everything, giving Yahweh Shah the order, the rules, etc. And he's going to be governing the whole earth in righteousness because he is that great king.
That's right.
Like you just read about in Zechariah 14th chapter.
That's right. See that he's that great king. He's gonna be getting praise, man. You know, all praise to our God in that day, man. He's gonna have respect to him, the Holy One of Israel. All right, so you go back to that in Zechariah chapter 14, verse 10.
Zechariah 14 and 10. All the land shall be turned as a plain from Geba and Ramah, south of Jerusalem, and it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate unto the place of the first gate, unto the corner gate, and from the tower of Hana'el unto the king's wine presses.
All right, read on.
And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction.
What does that mean? There's going to be no more utter destruction. Meaning for the righteousness, for the saints that rule in the kingdom, there will be no more death on the earth. Go to Revelations 22 and verse 3. There's not going to be any more death for the elect, man. Contrary to what other doctrines and, other doctrines may say, you're not dying in the kingdom. It's not going to happen, man. The Lord's kingdom will be established forever, man. So if you're part of that and you get to see that, you will not be dying in the kingdom. You're going to be able to see your children unto the 10th generation, and 10 just represents a whole amount, man. Right? Read that, Kim.
Revelation chapter 22 and 3. And there shall be no more curses, but the throne of God and of the Lamb shall be in it. And his servants shall serve him, and they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads.
Right.
And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun.
Right.
For the Lord giveth them light.
Right, you just read that. Read on.
And they shall reign forever and ever.
No, they're going to die.
And they shall reign forever and ever.
So it's not going to be any more destruction. They're going to reign forever and forever, thus saith the Lord. So that's what's going to be happening. There's not going to be any more destruction, man. Right, go to the book of 1 Corinthians 15 and verse 54. Mabakasha.
1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse number 54. So when this incorruptible shall put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be is written, death is swallowed up in victory.
All right.
O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law.
So the sting of death is sin, but the righteousness, or the righteous, or the elect is not going to be sinning. How are they going to die in the kingdom? They will have to sin to die. I mean, by sin came death on the earth, man. It tells you that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Right? It tells you back in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter, man. So if there's no sin, how can you die? And in the kingdom of heaven, the righteous aren't going to be sinning. Right? So how can they die? So the Lord said death is going to be swallowed up in victory, man. That's what's going to be happening in the earth. You got a precept?
Come.
I can get that.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 118 and verse 17. I shall not die,
All right.
but live,
All right.
and declare the works of the Lord.
And David said, hey, I'm not going to die but live, man. And that's what's, hey, go to Matthew chapter 16 and verse 28. What did the Lord Yahweh Shah say, man? What did he say about death for those that see the great kingdom of our Lord? And it's a beautiful day. I'm walking around.
Come.
All right.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 16. I need some tape. Verse number 28. It reads, Then Yahushua answered and said unto her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee, even as thou wilt.
All right.
And her daughter was made whole.
16:28.
It's like 16 and verse 28. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom.
The reason why they won't taste death is because they're going to be alive on the earth now. And then when Yahushua comes back, they're going to be able to be the first fruits in the kingdom and see it be built up. So when are they going to die? Are they're going to die in the kingdom? They can't die in the kingdom. So they're going to be translated from this life to the next life, and they would never perish. Right? They're going to be alive now. Yahushua comes back, and they're going to be alive in the kingdom, and they would never taste death. There's some people that would just never experience the curse of the grave, man. And that's a mighty lot. Right? But that requires a lot of faith, man, for the stuff that you're going to see on earth, man. You got to precept.
It's the book of John, chapter 8 and 52. Then said the Jews unto him, Now we know that thou hast a devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and thou sayest, if a man keep my saying, he shall never he shall never taste of death. And like the brother was saying again, go have certain brothers in the last days, they're going to endure Jacob's trouble. They're going to get caught up. They're going to endure the wilderness. Then they're going to have that glorified body and never taste death.
That's right.
And that's a beautiful law, like you were saying.
Hey, man, that's a beautiful, beautiful law. And that's not saying like those that die in the Lord won't be resurrected. They got first place on them chariots, man. But you still got men on the earth that just would never taste death or even experience the sting thereof, man. All right, so go back to that Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. All right, so that's what it means. It says, men shall dwell in there shall be no more utter destruction in that time. I read that.
Zechariah 14:12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away out of their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
And we always bring out this precept. Those are the nuclear bombs hitting the earth, man, right? Because they're going to fight against Jerusalem, but these nations are going to be fighting against each other, and these bombs are going to be getting thrown back and forth, man. The stars of heaven is going to fall. The Lord told us about that, Matthew the 24th chapter, right? Now these people are going to be getting consumed with hot, fiery nuclear missiles. That's 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9 on down, man. Right, read on.
Verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them,
right?
And they shall lay hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor.
Right. Go to 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15. Right. That's what do we read about that, man? Right. Every man on his hand of his neighbor, his hand shall rise against the hand of his neighbor. I mean, when there's no food on the earth, man, you thought it was bad during COVID. When there's no food on the earth, what are these nations what do you think these people are gonna do? All right, when there's all manner of hell breaking loose, you have a total estimate of 8 million jobs that's going to be lost in the next 2 to 3 years, man. 8 million jobs, man. What do you think these people are going to be doing for work, man? They're going to be robbing and stealing and breaking into your house, man. Your neighbor that used to say, hey, Tom, how you doing? Your grass looks kind of green today, right? Hey, guess what? He going to be walking on your grass and kicking in your door, man. Right? You know what?
It's the book of 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse number 15. It reads, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh,
right,
and one people shall stand up to fight against another with swords in their hands.
And on a more carnal level, these one people, it represents guess what? It's going to be race wars, right? It's going to be different. The South versus the North. Civil war coming back on Earth, man. These people that love Donald J. Trump and these people that hate damn Joe Biden, right? And you got the people that love Joe Biden and hate the liberals versus the Republicans. It's going to be a lot of war on the earth, man, right? Go jump up to verse, let's see what I want. 2 Ezra chapter 15 and start at verse number, 15, Keep on reading from that, King.
Verse 16. Finishing off on 15. And one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men.
See that?
And invading one another. They shall not regard their princes, nor kings, like kings nor princes. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power.
Do you think they're going to care about New York PD, right? Chicago Police Department? They're not going to be caring about these things. They're not going to be caring about the mayor. They're not going to be caring about the senator, your district attorney. They're not caring about your secretary of state. They ain't sure not going to care about what Joe Biden got to say, man. Right? With swords in their hands. And what is your modern day sword? Oh, a Glock 19, right? M16. You got men with automatic weapons in there. Look, it's going to get really bad on earth, man. And Zechariah is already prophesying about that, right? In verse 13, man. All right, read on, King.
Reading on. Verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men. I just read that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed,
right,
and men shall be afraid.
Read on.
A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
The Lord say,
a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor.
You don't care if you got a 2-year-old daughter. Your daughter is 9 months old. and your daughter got food in her hand, you gonna grab her, give me that food, man. Right? And your daughter gonna get lifted off the ground and gonna smack her head and start crying. And he gonna look at her like this. He's gonna say, stop crying and walk out and eat your daughter's food, man. That's what's gonna be happening in that day. No pity upon your neighbor. It don't matter if you got a family. It don't matter if you got a son or a daughter. You can be 98 years old with a cane. He gonna kick your cane and grab the food that was left. And then, hey, your grandmother may die because she hit her head too hard. And guess what? He run off in the night and he gonna do it to somebody else's grandmother, man. All right, hey, or grandfather. So these things are gonna be happening on earth. Read on.
Reading on. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation.
And for great tribulation. You got a precept?
I can read it out. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse number 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So because sin is going to increase on the earth, because all hell is going to break loose, the Lord said the love of many is going to wax cold. So all that Leviticus 19, 17, 19 and 16 through 18, hey, that's all going to be done away with in the last days. Why? Because it's already prophesied that the love of many is going to be dim in that day. It's going to be rare for you to see brotherly love. You breaking bread with your brothers is one crumb. Again, you guys haven't eaten in damn 5 days. Then it's one piece of chicken that you see. And now you and the next, and it's a whole family that the brother got to feed. You got to feed his family. Hey, but remember, they haven't eaten in damn 5 days, and it's another family, they looking at the same piece of chicken. All hell is going to break loose. Blood is going to be shed. People are going to die. People are going to literally fight to survive. Right? Let's get this in Luke chapter 12 and verse 51. It says, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. So Christ is literally coming and came to set division. He didn't come to bring everybody together.
I know.
He didn't come to give everybody hugs and just say, okay, guys, stop fighting. We're all big one family. The white man and the Chinese man, the so-called black and Hispanic man, we all are one.
Right.
No, the Lord, he literally came to set division. And through that division, all hell is going to break loose. He brought out 2 Esdras 15 is going to be seditions, right? Man is going to be, you're going to have one nation on this side, another nation on this side. It's going to be the race wars. And again, it's just, let me get this, Matthew chapter 24, and I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. The Lord said, while all hell is breaking loose, it's just the beginning. Right? Hey, you just seen your damn grandma get her hair blown off. You seen your mom and your sister get raped. Hey, the Lord said it's only the beginning. The Lord just not cooking up.
Right.
He only just warming up right now.
Oven just
shooting free throws is warm. He's just not getting hot. Game ain't even start yet. So imagine the times that even come after that, how much more gruesome and worse it's gonna be. Watch you guys.
See that? Go to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. Let's read about these Egyptians, because we in modern day Egypt again, man. We are in modern day Egypt again. I mean, you gotta really envision the first plagues of Egypt when the Lord was destroying Egypt, man. Right? All hell was breaking loose in Egypt. You heard screams. People was running into people's houses. They couldn't see. You had things coming out the sky with fire mingled. Right? You had the river was stinking. I'm led to believe it took days and weeks for that river not to stink, man. On top of it, it was dark. They couldn't see. It was thick darkness outside. Your cattle was dying. I mean, when something dies, it stinks, man. Right? And so you had all manner of smells throughout Egypt. It was all hell on earth, man. Read this, King. Yeah, locusts everywhere. Right? People just getting, it's bad. Read on, King.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and 2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother.
Right, hey, you may say, that's my brother right there. I can never do that. Hey, the Lord said you're going to be fighting against your brother, right? Read on.
And every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom.
And you have 3 million people, 3+ million people in the city of Chicago alone. Not even just counting the whole state. You got like, 8 million people living in New York City, man. You got over, 15 million people just in the state of California alone. We're not counting Houston, Atlanta, Miami, where else? Minneapolis. You got all of these cities that people are going to be fighting. The Lord says city going to be against city, neighbor against neighbor, man. Kingdom against kingdom. So it's going to be very bad on earth, man. And Zechariah is telling you this. But guess what? If you part of the elect and you got faith in Yahweh Shem Yahshua, you don't got to worry about any of these things, man. Right? Go to Zechariah, back to Zechariah chapter 14, man. But just to kind of paint the picture, you're going to have people rising against the hand of their neighbor, man. All right, read that in verse 14.
Zechariah chapter 14 and 14. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of all the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel and great abundance.
And we just read that. You're going to have clothing, gold, silver, all the wealth is going to be gathered together round about, man. It's going to be a lot of wealth, man. It's going to take a lot of hard-working men to gather all of that wealth. Read on.
Verse 15.
Like, hold on, Slocky, where's King David's shields at? Where's his swords at?
All right, where's King Solomon?
Yeah, where's King Solomon's, even the hinges on the door was gold. The damn hinges, man. Where's the hinges at? They took the hinges. They took the doorknobs, right? They took the locks on the doorknobs. These heathen took everything, man. Took tables, right? Our cups, forks, spoons. I'm led to believe King Solomon's napkins was not even silver. It was with gold napkins.
The swine even had gold on it.
Yeah, the pig had gold on it. It's in the damn somewhere, man, that these Edomites got in the basement. We're going to grab that and bring all of that out, right? And guess what? It's going to be laid round about, man. Right? That's what's going to be happening, man.
All right.
But you can read on.
Verse 15. And so shall be the plague of the horse, of the mule, of the camel, and of the ass, and of all the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague. And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which come against Jerusalem, which even shall go up from year to year to worship the King, Yahweh of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
So these nations going to be keeping the Feast of Tabernacles in the kingdom. These nations going to be keeping the feast days in the kingdom, man. I mean, go to Joshua chapter 2 and verse 9. These nations know that the Lord is going to be with the elect, man. And they're going to want to serve the Lord too. All right?
Joshua chapter 2 and 9. And he said unto the men, I know that Yahweh hath given you the land,
all right,
and that your terror is fallen upon us, and that all inhabitants of the land faint because of you.
And that's what's going to be happening. They're going to be fainting because the terror is going to be the terror of the Lord, and the Lord is going to be with the elect, man. And the terror is going to be on these other nations.
For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you,
right,
when ye came out of Egypt, and what ye did unto the two kings of the Amorites that were on the other side of Jordan,
right,
Sihon and Og, whom ye utterly destroyed.
Right.
And as soon as we heard, and as soon as we have heard these things,
and as soon as we what?
And as soon as we heard these things,
when the Lord destroys America and these nations, don't you think these heathen that's gonna be taken captive? They gonna hear about that? They gonna, what the hell? Who destroyed America? They gonna, did you do it? Well, we sent bombs over there, but it wasn't destroyed like that. Well, did you do it? No, we didn't do it. They gonna go, oh, he's back, right? Oh yeah, they gonna, he's back. When the one that destroyed Egypt again, man. Right. And they gonna hear about it. Read on.
Our hearts did melt.
What did happen?
Our hearts did melt.
Right.
Neither did there remain any more courage in any man, right, because of you. For Yahweh, your God, he is God in heaven above and the earth beneath.
And guess what? They're going to be worshiping the Lord, and they're going to be keeping our feast days in the kingdom of heaven, man, because they're going to hear how the Most High is with the elect in that day, man. Right? And if they don't, let's read on from Zechariah.
Zechariah chapter 14 and verse number 17. And it shall be that whosoever will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem.
All right, what happens if that don't happen? Read on.
To worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
Right.
For if the family of Egypt go not up and come not that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
Now, hold on. The Lord said there's going to be no rain for the nations and for the lands that do not keep the Feast of Tabernacles or don't come to Jerusalem, man. What does that mean? What happens when there's no rain? I mean, read about the times of 2 Kings 5, 6, and 7, where Elijah turned off the rain on them for 3 years.
Yeah.
See that? The Lord, he called upon his God and it turned off the rain, man. Right? And guess what? It was a famine, because with no rain, things don't grow. Meaning the Lord said, if you don't come to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, you're not going to eat. Wait, hold on. This is a future prophecy. Ask a Christian why the Lord will kill people and send a famine if they don't serve the Israelites in the kingdom of heaven. If everybody's going to be equal and the Lord loves everybody, why is the Lord turning off the rain for those people that don't keep the Feast of Tabernacles? Why is this written then? In the kingdom of heaven? New Jerusalem. See that? Read on, King. It's a cut.
Verse 18. Verse
19.
Yeah, 19. This shall be the punishment.
What did the Lord say?
This shall be the punishment.
You still got punishments in the kingdom of heaven? Right? Read on.
Of Egypt, and the punishment of all nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles.
See that? Read on.
And that day shall there be upon the bells of the horses holiness unto Yahweh, and the pots in the Lord's house shall be like bowls before the altar.
Right.
Yeah, every pot in Jerusalem and in Judah shall be holiness unto the Lord of hosts. And all they that sacrifice shall come and take them, and see it therein. And in that day there shall be no more the Canaanite in the house of Yahweh of hosts.
Meaning, everything in Jerusalem, everything in our land is going to be holy. Even your regular bowls, your regular cups, everything is going to be holy like it was before the altar, man. Because the Israelites not going to be sinning, man. So they're going to be holy. So anything they touch is going to be holy, man. Right? And your stinking Africans will not be there, man. Right? In our temple. So if you a Hamite, right, you from damn Senegal, East Africa, South Africa, right, Sudan, Ethiopians also, right? Go to Zechariah 2:12, man. You West African, we gotta vet you, but you may make it, man, right? If you repent and keep the laws, the statutes, commandments. A lot of our people out there, South Africa as well, but you North and Eastern Africans, you're not gonna make it, man. All right, read that, King.
It's the book of Zephaniah 2:12. Ye Ethiopians also.
What the Lord say?
Ye Ethiopians also.
So you Canaanites and also you Ethiopians, read on, with the big foreheads. Right?
Ye shall be slain by my sword.
See that? Thus saith Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. You got another precept?
Come on, this book of Joel, chapter 3, and verse number 4. I'm gonna start at verse 3. Right, because again, Ham couldn't get away. Right, because Ham, they also had a big part in our captivity.
And Ham is an unclean meat.
Yeah.
Right? Read that.
Joel 3:3. And they cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense upon your own head.
See that?
So Tyre and Zidon, those are both Hamite nations, and the Lord says He's going to recompense them swiftly. So if Christ is coming back for all, so save everybody, why is it prophecy that the Hamites are going to get destroyed?
Right.
And it's already prophesied Edom's going to get destroyed, and the Moabites. So who's the Lord coming back to save?
See that?
We're going to come to find out it's only the children of Israel.
Only the children of Israel. All ham sandwiches will be thrown away.
Right.
See that?
Sneak in there with a hairline.
Yeah, you can't sneak in there trying to be a turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
You're a ham sandwich. You're a Hamite. And it is what it is, and you got to deal with it. Right? How the so-called white man don't like y'all now, your whole land being taken away, and then in the kingdom the Lord gonna destroy you, man. That's a crazy lot to be in. Yeah, looking on Noah naked. See that? Damn Canaanites, man. Curse of Canaan.
Sending fake links on Instagram.
Yeah.
Talking about, hey, all praise to Yah.
Yeah, shalom, brother. Shalom, brother. You got $20 to help us in damn Zimbabwe. No, we don't got $20. So stop messaging the Israelites, man. You in a message request.
Yeah.
And you click on it, and it's a big Hamite with a cow behind it.
Yeah, with a big belly.
Yeah, with a big belly.
Skinny arms.
And the sun in the background, they worshiping it. See that? Talking about shalom, brother. Y'all gonna be destroyed too, man.
Right.
See that? Trying to extort the Israelites, man. Right, but we like to give our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, right? And Lord willing, was edified. Keep the Shabbat holy, right? And Lord willing, one member of the elect wakes up today, man. All praise to Yahweh Shah with a bit of mighty strong shalom.
Shalom.